Welcome back. If you remember from the announcement, I was discussing how I've designed my own glyphs, my own little hieroglyph style, my own alphabet, and I wanted to go through my journal. I wanted to believe I was following some type of tradition with this writing and history keeping, drawing all together. So I took a page from Egyptian scribes and started with a grid. Using a 5 by 5 grid, I started to assign how to make these images and what each section of the grid really represents. For example, the middle 9 will be for a character, and the surrounding 16 blocks will be to add a variation to the character so it can match a similar sound. This sounds more complicated than it is, but it's a lot easier in practice. Like the Egyptians, I wanted to keep each character facing the same direction of the origin of the writing. So, because we write left to right, all of the characters will be facing left. I decided to make variations for each one so that way I don't have to continue to make separate animals or separate positions for the animals to be in. I could just make the same image with the variation and it'll represent something else. So, for example, the character we use for B is the bass. The bass is just pretty simply put. You just draw it on the inner 3 blocks. Over 1 and down 3, that's where the head of the fish would start. And then the next 2 blocks next to it, that would be the entire fish character. This same exact position will be for its corresponding F. The variation of the bass would be a whale. We use bass for the plosive labial sounds, that's B, P, and M. For the fricatives, like the more airy sounds, as I was saying with W, the V and F, I decided to make a whale. For B, which is just a fish facing straight to the left, you go over and down 3 on the grid. That's where the head begins. And the next 2 blocks next to that, you finish the body. In that same exact position, using the outer 16 blocks, the whale swimming straight, looking directly to the left, matching the same position as the bass, makes the V sound, which is the fricative version of a B sound. Matching this up, a whale looking up would make the W sound. And if you put the fish in the same position looking upward, it'll make the M sound, which would almost be like the opposite. M is just a closed mouth, where W is the open mouth. And the same thing, we just follow it over. When the whale is looking down, that makes the F sound. So the equivalent for the bass would be the P sound. With that done, we already have all the labial sounds. Now that we have somewhat of a rule established, moving on to the lingual letters is a little bit simpler. We already established snake as the S. I believe a good variation for a snake would be a dragon or a winged serpent. Moving on similarly as we did with the bass, if we would move over on the grid 3 by 2 to start the head of a snake, and literally just from that position, just coil around to make a backwards Z in the middle 9 blocks, that would give us the S sound. If we add a feathered hairdress and wings to it, that would give us the Z sound. So with the same character, depending on how it's dressed, gives us different sound. Going over 1 and down 1 to start the head, you essentially just draw a D in the middle 9 blocks. I decided to make the inverse or the dragon form of the D into the J sound, because D gives us the word dragon and J is the sound we make when we say dragon. So to match this decision to make J the dragon version of the D, I made the ch sound the dragon version of the T, because the same way D is just a voiced T, J is just a voiced chi. If it's the snake with the rattle, then it does the lesser or falling T sound. For example, the T at the end of cat or flat. Anytime you end a syllable with a T sound, they consider that like a weaker T sound compared to the true T. I added a rattle at the end of the D so it could do the R sound. And words like we would say in American English, bottle, waddle, battle, any of that R sound, that's what the D with the rattle would signify. Almost to copy the T, but instead of curling all the way around, leaving the middle empty, I curled it closer together and had the tail pointing out directly. That's what gives us the sh sound, the SH sound. And doing the same thing, curling it in tightly and pointing the tail out to the left. almost like the D looking letter, that's going to give us the j sound and vision. The voice version of the lingual dental fricative, the sound, will be put with the ZH sound, the j sound, as the snake version. The j would be the dragon version. In that respect, the unvoiced TH sound, the one in thing and bath, that one is going to be coupled with the SH sound, with the SH variant being the dragon and the voiceless TH variant being the snake. L is made with the same snake character, straight up with the bottom coiled. The Y is the dragon variant of that character. For R, if you go down 2 by 2, is drawn with the head going straight down 3 and to the right 3, almost like you're doing the T, but without the tail up, just slithering along. The R with the tail up slightly is the hard R, and when the tail is completely relaxed down, it ends up doing the Semi Vowel R. The next character we have is the N, and N is another one of those characters that has several variants. It has 3 variants actually. It has the regular N sound. N tail is sticking up slightly with the rattle. That's going to give us the Nya sound. The third variant, which is easier to argue in favor for, is the Enye sound. The dragon variant of the N is going to be the Ng sound. And with the labial letters and lingual letters completed, it was a lot easier to implement K and the C, and I also add H to this letter. 2 wings up would give you the H sound. The left wing down and the right wing up would give us the G sound, and when both wings are down, it'll give us the K sound. Variation to the H somewhat is the Glottal Stop, which is still very much in use. Whether you want to talk about British accents that would say words like battle, bottle, or little, and even in the American English accent, when we say words like Manhattan or Latin, we tend to have a little gap, that little stop of air in our throat. That is the Glottal Stop. If the crow that makes the H sound has both wings up, the eagle variation would have both wings up as well. That would give us the A sound. To match the K sound with both wings down, the eagle variation of that would give us the U sound. To match the G with the left wing down and a right wing up, that would give us the O sound. And the opposite of that, with the left wing up and the right wing down, would give us the E sound. And because those are all the wing variations we could have, I put the left wing going directly to the left, straight, with the right wing going down. That would give us the I sound. As a quick review, we have the labial letters represented by the bass and the whale. We have the lingual letters represented by a serpent and a winged serpent. We have the throat nasal letters represented by the crow. And we have the vowels represented by an eagle. And yeah, and with that said, thank you very much and see you in the next one.